Hey everybody, this is Brent Lewis from L4 Group, and today is July 3rd. We're right in the midst of a heat wave in the summertime, and I think we have temperatures that are in the 90s, but feel like they're easily over 100. So I figured today we would talk about some air conditioning troubleshooting tips, and I have with me a air conditioning pro, Steve Ohl. Steve, how's it going?
Good, good. I was doing good. How are you?
Good, very good. Trying to stay cool. Uh, so, Steve, before before we get into some of the troubleshooting tips, why don't you give everybody just a little bit of a background about, what it is that your company, RFO, does and how long you've been in business?
Um, RFO is a heating oil and propane delivery company. We also have a full-service HVAC department installing heating systems and cooling systems. We also do maintenance on the systems, and we have service plans. Um, and we've been in business for 30 years in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, on Route 209.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm sure you've had your fair share of emergency air conditioning calls through those years.
Oh yeah, it's particularly the last few years, air conditioning has become so important. Everybody's pretty much aware of some of the air quality issues, and when the humidity levels get through the roof, it really accentuates everything. So a day like today, I think it's like 78 degrees already this morning. It's going to be a very hot and humid day, so I'm sure a lot of people will be inside using the air conditioning, and we'll be getting called.
Yep, without a doubt, I'm sure. So I thought, an appropriate thing to ask you would be if you could give homeowners a step-by-step guide or a troubleshooting guide that they can go through, when they're experiencing a air conditioning outage.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, kind of interesting. I just had a similar conversation with one of my neighbors through Facebook on this very same thing. Um, but yeah, there's a couple things that you can do that before you call a service technician. The one thing would be check the thermostat, and make sure if it's a digital thermostat that you check the batteries, because about once a year you should replace those. I usually tell my customers do it when you do your fire alarms. When you change your smoke alarms, smoke detectors. It's a good time to remember to change the batteries in your thermostats also. Check the breakers. There's one at the unit, and then also the electrical panel. Check all the switches at the unit or the top of the steps or an attic entryway. There'll usually be some type of a marked switch there. The second thing you could do is check the floor or ceiling registers, see if there's air moving. Now, just because there's air moving doesn't necessarily mean that it's cool, so you want to check and see, that gives you an indication. Is it basically one thing or another? If it's warm air blowing, then well, it's really not working. It's just that the fan's running. Um, the third thing you can do is check the outside unit. Is it blowing air? Is it iced up? If it's iced up, there isn't really much of anything that can be done until it's thawed out. So it would pay you to obviously contact your technician that you use and just schedule an appointment for the next day or something, because it's going to take a while probably to thaw out. Also check for shrubs and debris and leaves around the outdoor unit. Make sure nothing's stopping it from running, because that'll definitely affect the performance. Step four is check the lines connecting the outside unit to the inside unit. Are they iced up? Condensation is normal, but if you see icing, that's an indication that something's wrong. So you again want to definitely call the service technician and have them come out and take a look at it. Um, the fifth thing that you can do is just see if it's cooling but not enough. That could the first thing there is your air filter. If the air filter is blocked, or you have pets, particularly with pets, are cats or dogs that shed a lot, you probably have to change your air filter more often than other people. So you might be changing it every 2 weeks to a month. Uh, Typically, you should check the filter once a month and see what it looks like. If it's okay, you can leave it go. But for the price of a filter, you're just better off changing it once a month and not have to worry about it. And then the other thing to look at is, have you had the tune-up done? Take a look at that, and make sure the indoor and outdoor units are running properly and at the best performance they can. That'd be another big thing. But it's pretty simple. Just also when you're dealing with electrical, make sure you're comfortable and you know your way around the electrical panel and an outdoor disconnect. Make sure you're comfortable going into these, into the electrical panels. If you're not, definitely call an EPA certified technician to take a look at the air conditioning unit. And these are all just simple things that you can do on your own. So once you get past that, then you should definitely have a service technician involved.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned, having your air conditioner serviced. How often do you recommend having that done?
I would do it once a year. It's kind of like your car. You don't really let the car probably even go once a year. You're probably have it in for the oil change, depending on the amount of time you drive, a couple times a year. And while they're in there, I'm sure you direct the mechanic to, check the brakes. And when you do your inspection on the car, for your state inspection, he's checking them anyway, but you probably want to be preventative. And the same thing applies to your HVAC system, whether it's a heating system or a cooling system. Preventative maintenance is the best way to avoid trouble. Going into a peak season, like air conditioning, best time to do a tune-up is before you use it, because once it breaks down, it's probably not in a tune-up situation. It's more of a service call situation, and you're something you can't plan out. So typically it happens later in the day after you get home from work or a weekend, and it'd be much better to just kind of plan for your annual tune-up and make sure everything's running the best that it can.
Awesome, awesome. That's a great checklist for people to be able to go through. If they are experiencing an outage, and it might be as simple as like you said, a battery in the thermostat. So thanks for sharing that. Now I do have one other question before we wrap up, and that is, again, staying comfortable in these hot temperatures. Sometimes I'm sure there's homes out there that they have a perfectly good working air conditioning system, but because of the architecture of the home or the way that a room might be situated, or maybe it was an addition that was installed after the air conditioning system was put in, but there might be a particular trouble room where it just stays too hot. You can't get it cool. Do you have good solutions for that?
Yeah, I mean the best solution for that, without actually looking at the home, would be a mini split system. Most HVAC companies, air conditioning experts, will come out and offer a free estimate. So you can't say 100% certain that a mini split system, is going to solve that problem until you go out and look at the home. But right off the top of my head, a mini split system would be a great thing to do for that. I mean, we've installed mini split systems in homes with up to 5 additions, where the main HVAC system, the whole house unit, could do maybe a couple of the additions, but once it got past that, it was just a major expense to upgrade the main system. So it was easy to accommodate the customer, and we saved them a lot of time and money by doing a mini split system in the other additions. So it's definitely outdoor room, or 8 outdoor like 4-season rooms, things like that are perfect for those. Putting an addition on your house, you're adding another level, or you're putting something above a garage. Those are all great things to add a mini split system.
Okay, and there might be some viewers that don't know what a mini split system is. Can you just give an explanation of what that is?
Yeah, it's it's an entire heating and cooling system. Many of the mini split systems have heat pumps on them, and we actually recommend to our customers they get a heat pump installed right away. It's only a couple $100 extra usually, to add that on right away, so you can use it for heating and cooling. But it's if you go to restaurants and other places that you're out in the public, you'll see a unit up in the on the wall, usually higher up in the wall, maybe a foot or two below the ceiling, and they could be 3 feet long, 4 feet long, and that's where your air is coming out for the air conditioning. And then there's a line run to it, which you only have to put about a 2-inch hole through the wall. You don't see any lines inside the house. And then outside the house, there's an outdoor unit where the lines run, and that provides the refrigerant to run to what they call the head unit, which is inside. So, next time you're out and about in a public place, or you're at a neighbor's house and you happen to see, the head unit on the wall, that's a mini split system. They're basically an indoor unit and an outdoor unit. You don't need to run ductwork. Saves you a lot of cost installing it. Particularly if your home's already finished, you'd be looking at, maybe taking up closet space, or, going up into a crawl space or an attic and running ductwork and cutting holes in the ceiling for registers on the floors. So this is a definite quick solution to what could be a potentially costly installation. We've never run into a situation in the years we're doing it where we could not install a mini split system. I'm sure there's some out there. It could be just certain situations where you can't, but you can mount them on a roof. You can hang them on the side of a wall. If you go into cities like you're in New York City, or even Allentown, for instance, you look around where buildings are close, you'll see them on certain roofs or on the sides of walls, sometimes even up on second stories. So they're pretty versatile installations.
So just to rephrase a little bit, basically, it's a mini split system is a good alternative to having to deal with window units, which are noisy. They just don't look good. They take up the space in your window, but they're not a full-blown whole house HVAC system. So it's kind of a situational, space by space solution that is easy to install compared to a central air system. Probably quieter than window units, and blends in better, in your total home, because it's just a head unit that gets mounted on the wall. Doesn't take up a bunch of space, and then the outdoor unit can be mounted. It sounds like pretty much anywhere you need to mount it.
Yeah, it's a great solution for just about any home. And if you have window units, yes, a window unit is way louder than a mini split system. The mini splits have what they call quiet cool settings, where you will not even hear this thing run. They're amazing. Not like the old window units, or even the new window units. I think the new window units are like 58, 60 decibels, which is pretty loud when you're trying to watch TV. So yeah, you can have your mini split system on. You'll never even know it. Even the outdoor unit is super quiet. I've already taken customers at our showroom, around the side of the building because they wanted to see an outdoor unit, and they're like, "Well, you going to turn it on?" I said, "It's already on," and they're like, "Wow, I can't even hear it." And if a car drives by or something, you won't even hear it running at all. You have to put your head down there to hear it. So yeah, they're very quiet and very efficient. My service manager was just telling me the other day that they had come out with I think a 27 SEER unit. So it's amazing the technology that's out there with mini split systems compared to a house unit, which is usually around 16 SEER. So
wow,
yeah,
wow, that's amazing. So all right, awesome. Well, Steve, thanks again for giving us tips on how to deal with troubleshooting issues with air conditioning, and then also talking about these mini split systems. Just for local viewers, if they want to get a hold of you, why don't you give everybody your phone number, your web address, and also let us know the service area that RFO covers.
Sure. Phone number is 610-377-1098. Our web address is www.rfohl.com. You can also email us, info@rfol.com. If you go on our website, we have links to Facebook and Twitter. You can check us out there. And the service area we cover is basically a 50-mile radius of Lehighton, Pennsylvania. We go into Schuylkill County, Monroe County, Harbin County, Lehigh County, and Northampton County. Cover about 82 zip codes. If you see a zip code, or if you're in a zip code that's not on our website, or you can't, you're not sure, just give us a call. You might be real close to where we're at, and we'll definitely let you know if we can service you or not. But more than welcome to give us a call and ask questions.
Okay, great. So again, thanks, Steve, for taking your time out of the day to talk about air conditioning problems and solutions. And have a great 4th of July tomorrow.
Hey, you too. Thanks.
All right, take care.
Bye.